You're listening to the worldwide leader of Real Talk, A2Dradio.com.
Welcome, Tom.
Mike.
AM.
In the PA.
A2Dradio.com, live from the BMW of Atlantic City Studios like we are every Wednesday night. We're right here in Mount Ephraim, New Jersey. BMW of Atlantic City. We're off exit 37 on the Parkway. Find them online, BMWofAtlanticCity.com. Every Wednesday night, we're brought to you by our certified public accountant, our show sponsor, Gibson Mayer LLC. Find them on the web, GibsonMayer.com. Tom Arnone, Michael Mataraki, Greg Mwakovic, Rob Povey on the ones and twos. 2 years for us, Mr. Mataraki.
My man.
Feels good. We'll snuggle later.
2 years tomorrow, July 20th.
With that, get
2015.
Get a little bottle of the bubbly, and we'll go settle in the hot tub afterwards.
Some spoons.
Congrats, gentlemen. Congrats.
Feels good.
Thank you, sir.
Feels good.
Appreciate it.
I've been essentially tied to the hip of this gentleman longer than my wife. I've only been married to her for a year, a little over a year.
I was going to say, when you and I first started doing the show, you weren't even engaged yet.
No.
It was like you were like right.
Oh, no, I was engaged.
Right? I thought you were like right on the verge.
No, I wasn't. Yeah, I was locked in and loaded. Nice. I got the ring
Hey,
on.
at least he remembers that one.
Listen, when you
he remembers it, so that's a good step.
Listen, Daddy, when you outkick your coverage, you put the ring on ASAP, and that's just fundamentals. That's just real talk, and that's what we're here to do for you tonight.
At least the man admits when he's outkicked the coverage.
Sure. I'll admit it all day, twice on Sunday.
Unlike some other people we know. But that's another story for another time.
Big three we'll get into. Did Iverson owe anybody anything in Philadelphia? We'll talk about that. His injury status and everything that went on. We'll discuss it later on in the show. Eagles talk, Doug Pederson's comments, which you know where I stand. I'm a gigantic fan of it. Gigantic. We'll get into a little bit later. Expectations for the team as well. And we'll get into it more as training camp gets on week by week and leads you into the Eagles season.
Yeah, next week we'll have our training camp preview edition, and then we'll kick it from there.
James Gibson's actually in the chat. So if you missed it.
Hey, Jim.
Our certified public accountant, make them yours. Find them on the web, GibsonMayer.com.
You got to love when the show sponsor gets in on it right out of the gate, too.
Oh, you got to love it.
It's beautiful.
Phillies Trade Talks. What would the Phillies have to offer the Marlins to get Stanton and Yelich? We'll go over some scenarios there.
I'll just back up a bus and load them all up.
Why not?
Pretty much.
Why not?
Pretty
you know
much.
how I feel about prospects for proven talent.
Yeah.
And I'll side with proven talent under the age of 27 every day and actually twice a day. Twice a day. If we're going to play doubleheaders, twice a day. I just would, because you know what you're getting. When you're trading prospects, they're hit or misses.
And for these goons that are, why would the Phillies take on that much money? Because they can.
Right, can you juice my headset? Like these animals, can you juice my headset one? Can you juice my headset? Like on the thing. Them two were coming in hot, and mine's not. There she is. There she blows. Whoever was on too early doesn't like it hot. So don't, ladies out there on Tinder, swipe whatever way you're not supposed to swipe.
I got engrossed into the new Facebook Live format. It looks and sounds beautiful. I was just making sure. So I got caught up.
Never let it be said the man doesn't like the sound of his own voice. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, I mean, in the business of love voices.
Not in our business.
In the business of love voices. So, McGregor, Mayweather, that's going to be the main topic at hand. And we want to know, does Conor McGregor have a legitimate shot to beat Floyd Mayweather? Yes, maybe, no effing way. Let us know. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. A2D Radio is where you can find us. Gentlemen?
Well, should we talk about the genesis of the topic first?
Yeah, because everything has a backstory for the most part with us.
The backstory is late last week.
We'll go to what we do.
Well, we are going to what we do. But late last week, so the Maymac tour went from, Vegas to L.A. to Toronto, and then they went to London. Mm-hmm. And when they went to London, there were photos that allegedly showed McGregor and Mayweather on the same plane. And there was a lot of back and forth as to, was it the same plane? Was it a similar plane? There were reporters there that said that the planes arrived 15 minutes apart, this and that. But regardless of whether it was the same plane or not, there was an element of doubt placed in the minds of a lot of people. And you and I went at it a little bit on the book, and I think we were kind of hitting the same thing from different angles, and we just kind of had a little disconnect there. But is this thing like, is this a fight or is this a show? Is this real, two guys that really hate each other, or is this nothing but hype? Is this something that's going to wind up going to a draw and the rematch is going to take place in an octagon? Or is this something that we could legitimately look back on 10, 15, 20 years from now and say, you know what? Conor McGregor crossed over and he became a star. I don't see it, but I think we can discuss, because right now, I mean, it's the hot topic. You go on any sports site, pretty much.
Oh yeah.
All the big ones. They have their MLB, they have their NFL training camp getting ready to start, and line 3 is Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah, and listen, the whole premise of the post that I put out on A2D was to make a joke of, like, we weren't saying they were on the same plane. We're just saying that they're frauds at the end of the day, and if anybody believes that there's like real hatred, they're just lying to themselves. And if anybody believes that they wouldn't fly on the same plane, is lying to themselves as well, because it's all show. I mean, boxing is never wrestling. I get that, but the promotional side of it is exactly the same. And you see it in MMA all the time, and in boxing they stare each other down and they hate each other. And yeah, some things blow up, okay, and that's real hatred. But 95% of the time, they're just doing their job. And it's not hatred. And for these guys McGregor, who's a good talker, right? Floyd, who just has the swagger and bravado that Floyd has as one of the greatest boxers of all time at this point, right? So stuff comes with that. So my whole thing is I never believed that they hate each other to begin with. It's all show. And that the fact that they need to travel the 27 goddamn places for a fight that's happening in Vegas is unnecessary to me. So it's overkill, but that's what they're trying to bring boxing back any way they can. And this is a way to maybe bring boxing back into the picture.
And I am completely on board with all of that, except for, and this is, I think, where we kind of got into it a little bit, is the whole idea of them traveling together. Even though they're going on this, was it Maymac tour, and they're doing all these press conferences and everything like that, you referenced wrestling, and I'll even kind of dip into that for a second, because the one thing that these guys can't do out of all the shit that's going on is they can't travel together. They can't give the illusion that they're in this together.
Yeah.
They have to have that like fourth wall and make sure that they maintain that suspension of disbelief for the audience, because if they do travel together and they get caught on a plane together or in a restaurant together or even taking a shit in the bathroom at the same time, their buy rate goes down the tubes because everybody immediately thinks, the fix is it.
Yeah, well, listen, they're in it to get paid. I mean, they're in it to get paid.
Yeah.
And there was mutual agreement on this fight for one reason and one reason only, and that's dollars and cents.
Correct.
It's dollars and cents. Neither one, what does it do to help either one's career? Like longer term. Now Floyd's more at the end. What does it do? It's not going to help anybody's career one way or the other.
It doesn't help. It only helps Floyd he gets the 50. That's how it helps Floyd. He gets that nice even round number, 50-0, that no one's ever going to beat. Right? It helps McGregor because now if he becomes the one in 49-1,
right?
Going back to the
wrestling reference, right?
Right. If he becomes that one, now you mentioned he's going to become a star. He's already a star. We know that.
Right, but a crossover star.
You're right. Correct. A crossover star. Now he's taken over the boxing world that no one ever thought would ever happen, me included.
Let's get to
but I think real
go
quick.
Ahead, finish. And I don't want to get to the comments because there's a lot coming in.
The disconnect and the belief that McGregor has a chance is because Vegas is letting McGregor have a chance.
Of course.
When all those hypotheticals were out there, it was always McGregor plus 2,300. Mayweather minus 3,300. No shots in hell. Now you look at McGregor, he's got better odds than some of the best world-class fighters that Mayweather has faced in the last couple years. He's got better odds than them.
Because it's a hard one to judge, too.
But in reality, I don't think it is.
No, I don't think it is either.
Yeah.
But
Vegas is allowing that to happen,
and that's what they do.
Because of this.
Right,
that's what they do.
But here's the thing. So what do we always talk about, though? We always talk about the eye test.
Yeah.
And there's a reason that McGregor's camp has been closed. I mean, there's stories coming out now that they brought in a sparring partner, Brandon Rios, and Rios has already knocked him out cold. Literally knocked him out cold twice in training, and now they're moving on from him and bringing in a different sparring partner because they feel like they need a sparring partner who is more in the style of Mayweather, which is complete BS. They just need a sparring partner who won't keep knocking him out because his confidence is going down the tubes.
Yeah, no question. So let's get to some of the comments real quick.
Get back to your Rios.
Jarrell, Ola, fuck yeah, he's going to win. Doug Zeke, pimps, best in the business.
Damn right.
Love it, Zeke, man. Alicia Lynn, McGregor all day. Vinny Masden, Buster Douglas, beat Mike Tyson, so there's always a chance, but not happening. Bob Hartman, nope. Mayweather all day. Vinny, show they love each other because they're making money, which we all agree on. Rob Pove, who's over in the chair, maybe he has a shot if age difference makes an impact, but I think unfortunately Floyd breaks him down after the 4th round. Jarrell again, Ola. Let us know he's here. Bob Hartman, people love Conor for the same reasons they hate Floyd. Whole thing is a joke, and pretty sad that the big boxing draw was Floyd and an octagon fighter. And it just shows you that there's nothing out there for him to fight.
Well, because he beat them all.
Yeah. Well, he beat what was out there. And,
right.
And
he's not in the same weight class as Golovkin, so that's never going to happen.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, all the – and again, why would he fight Golovkin at this page in his career?
See, to me,
Alicia says hi, Greg.
Yes, hi, Alicia.
See, to me,
McGregor's got no shot. Sorry.
This isn't even a matchup of call it top tier guys now because Mayweather's getting to the point where he's probably starting, if not already on that downside. I mean, 49-0. Can the guy go forever? Maybe, but I mean, you look at UFC and Conor McGregor. I mean, they basically got rid of Nate Diaz because he was going to wind up kicking the shit out of McGregor. And that goes, there goes the meal ticket because McGregor is the money. So basically what they're doing is they're just taking money and putting it up against money right now, pun intended. And, we'll see what happens. If you've watched McGregor fights and you've watched Mayweather fights, problem is the style, it translates a little bit to where I don't even know if these guys are going to punch each other because they're going to dance for however many rounds. McGregor may get aggressive. He'll swing wildly. He's not going to make contact. There's no way he's going to even hit Floyd.
No, dude, Floyd's too quick.
And that's
way
the thing.
Too quick.
The best fighters in the world, boxing fighters in the world who train their entire life
take heads off.
Take heads off. Can't touch him. And now all of a sudden we're going to think an MMA guy who has to, put on bigger gloves, who has to swing, that makes a difference. Who there's no element of a takedown, no element of a kick coming, and all of a sudden he's gonna be the guy. He's gonna be the one in 49-1.
Yeah, and he can't even kick until what round anyway? I mean, right? I mean, they have it set up. Correct? Am I correct on this? That it's boxing up until a certain round. It's got to get.
You're talking in MMA fights, right?
No, I'm talking this fight. I was told that you're boxing, say 8 rounds.
Oh no, it's
the last one.
No, it's 100% boxing.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, so
it's pure boxing.
And even if you did give the last round,
and here's the other caveat too. As much as people hate Floyd, and rightfully so, and I'm not a Floyd fan, I just understand how good he is.
Right, you respect the greatness.
Floyd would not come out of retirement for any amount of money and risk that O. There's no shot in hell Floyd comes out of retirement and risks the O.
He doesn't lose.
Well, that's
what he said.
And
that's
he's not
the point.
going to lose. Yeah. It's for the poll question. Sean Moss says, is it true McGregor got knocked out by a sparring partner?
Yes, twice.
I think it's true. We just don't know who the sparring partner is.
Oh, we do.
Because Rios came out and said it wasn't me. I've never met the guy. Now, whether he's playing coy or not, but the story is true what I saw.
I've read from 2 third parties that were quote-unquote observers to the sparring sessions that he lasted 3 rounds with Rios in the first one, and Rios took him out in the first round in the second one.
Rios has some power in those hands.
Yeah.
So it doesn't shock me that if they really brought in Brandon Rios, they're idiots. Because you don't bring in Brandon Rios to fight like Floyd Mayweather, because it's not going to happen. Brandon Rios will knock your head off, and if it was him, I think the story, Malls, is true. I just don't know if it was necessarily Rios. But that comes back to the whole point in this fight, and the reason the sparring partners, he couldn't beat a sparring partner. The best sparring partner in Mayweather's gym would hand McGregor his jock.
Oh yeah,
let alone
facts
Floyd.
Are facts. Facts are facts. And it's the love affair for McGregor that has people actually believing that he has everybody has a chance. I get that.
Yeah.
But actually that believe he can win this fight. There's just no shot. When it first came out, I said no shot. And I'm not an MMA guy. I want to clarify that to the people. I'm just not a fan of it. It ain't my thing. It ain't my cup of tea. I was a boxing guy. Okay? I want to see what guys can do with their hands. All right, all the extra, I didn't grow up in Asia. You know what I'm saying, right. Daddy? Like, I grew up where, hey, what are you going to do with your hands? Yeah. You got something to say across the dinner table. We're coming hands. We're not throwing swift round kicks to the lip.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I've been a Floyd guy, and I'm going to stick to being a Floyd guy, and he's the best in the world. I don't care how old he is. And if he, like to your point, if he thinks he's going to get in here, and Joshua Ennin saying that if McGregor can do some illegal things and get close, he could knock him out. I don't see that happen.
Be over.
He also did say he would rather see McNabb and T.O. in the ring, and I love that.
Yeah.
Celebrity
hysterical.
boxing, McNabb and T.O.
That's hysterical, yeah.
Awesome.
As a combat sports guy, I watch it all. I
know, you're a junkie. You're too much of a junkie.
Exactly. I'm a junkie. I have a problem.
We talked about this.
I have
things
a problem.
You watch in car rides home.
Yes.
Like the sporting events that you go deep into.
Oh, yeah.
To find an excuse.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
But
he's the guy that wants to put Fight Club on TV.
yes.
Yeah.
It's on right now. We just don't know it. But you brought up Nate Diaz, right? And in that first fight, he beat McGregor. And he beat McGregor because he was handling him in the hands, and then McGregor got desperate and went in, and it also ultimately ended in a choke, right? And then McGregor comes back, and of course, Dana White probably paid Nate Diaz a little bit extra on the side. Hey, make sure you go down this time and you lose it so we can save face because McGregor is the star of the UFC.
Right, and now Diaz wants the rubber match, and it's not going to happen.
And the man can sell a fight. The man can sell a fight.
No question.
You say whatever you want.
No question about it.
I'm not a McGregor fan, but the guy can sell a fight. And he's doing his job.
I'm not a fan, FYI, of McGregor. I like him. To your point, I like that he, the way he sells himself and the way he sells a fight.
See,
how can you not be a fan? But I'm a Floyd guy at heart.
And it's funny that you said that because I'm that way with both of them. Like I don't hate either of them, but I'm not a big fan of either. Like I'm just kind of like it's almost like in this particular instance, I'm just taking a step back and like watching the circus go by. But I saw a quote earlier today that said, you can't have a circus without a couple of clowns.
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
And that's exactly what you've got going on here. But I like in this, like you're talking about, like the combat sports and everything. And I know, Rob and you were wrestling guys a little bit. I can't help but draw the comparisons to when CM Punk decided he was going to go to UFC.
I have no idea what this is.
It'll be quick, man. But it was, here's a guy who is, he was a WWE champion, but he was always lauded as being, an expert in Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu. And he quits wrestling and he trains legit, loses all kinds of weight. And what did we hear about his training? That he was getting tapped out in training.
Oh, he couldn't last a couple minutes of a fight.
But he's still going to go forward with the fight. And he fights a guy who's basically a nobody in UFC and winds up tapping out in a minute and a half.
And turned him into a budding star because of it.
Yeah.
Real quick, Sean Moss, if McGregor comes out swinging, he'll be dead by the third round. I don't see him pacing himself. That's why Diaz beat him in his first fight, to what you guys were talking about. Yeah. James Gibson, this is just like Billie Jean King and Bobby Riggs. All hype and circus.
That's a great reference. I love it.
Stephen DeBear just chiming in with nope. Right with him.
Yeah.
And what else do we have? Vinny Massing, 4 ounce gloves. I'd actually bet McGregor.
Well, absolutely, but you're playing it with 8 and 10.
And one more, and then go to YouTube. McGregor, Brittany Smith. McGregor, I think that since he used his hands so much, he has a much bigger chance than people think. All right.
It's your opinion. It's fine.
Yeah.
Vegas is with you then.
No.
Because, the odds are there.
Todd Womack on the YouTube chat, very similar to what Vinny said. If it was 4 ounce gloves, then I'd give Conor a strong chance, but Mayweather's got it. And Jay Lash chimes in. What's up, fellas?
What up, Lash?
What up, Lash?
Been a minute, Lash, man. How are them Lashes, Daddy? They feeling good?
Getting back to the whole hype around the press conferences and the promotion tour, and it goes to the greatness, if you want to call it, of Conor McGregor. And again, like, you know, we all said, we're not necessarily fans, but I don't necessarily – I just bust Alicia Stones and my buddies Joe Stones because they all love her.
Right.
You know what I mean? But he realizes he has an entire combat sports backing that he has to sell for this fight. You know, and then he's also got to get those mid-level boxing fans that hate Floyd and want to see him lose and back him.
Well, that's
because
they
want to make the most money,
right.
And you're only going to do that by selling the most $100 pay-per-view.
And why is Floyd hated more than he should be? Because he's great.
He's great, and plus you got the outside of boxing stuff, which that's why he's hated.
Well, listen,
and
that's
all fine.
To me, I hate him because of that.
Sure.
But me, when I talk about my love for Floyd, is in the ring.
I completely agree.
Outside of the ring, Floyd, I don't condone none of that goddamn shit.
Completely
agree.
agree.
But inside the ring, he's great. And that's more before all that stuff came out, before we found out all that info. Floyd was still not liked by majority because he was great. And what do we do with greatness? During the time they're great, we all tend to hate.
Yeah.
And that's just what we do.
And it comes back to Floyd's style as well. Floyd isn't the most, flashy fighter because he's more of a defensive guy.
He's flashy in Vegas. You know what I mean? When he's throwing fuzzles around. That's flashy.
Right.
But, he's a more defensive fighter, and people are going to call that running. And, hey, it is what it is. He's 49-0.
Right. But here's the thing. So, there's a lot of people over, call it the last 10 years maybe, that have just really soured on the sport of boxing because there's really only one personality left, and that's Floyd. Guys that people loved got old. Guys,
no heavyweights.
Yeah, guys that are, coming in don't necessarily have the personalities. You get fights like the most recent Pacquiao fight where it's clear that he won the fight, but the decision goes the other way, and it's not even a split decision. It's a unanimous decision. So they say, we'll go ahead and rescore it, and they rescore it, and they still don't get it right. And you get people that are
just... one job.
Yeah. Yeah, you get people that are just soured to the sport. So could you imagine what happens to those, call them pure boxing fans, if McGregor pulls off the upset? Number one, they're going to be pissed. Number two, they're going to think the fix is in.
Oh, there's no doubt.
And number three, there's going to be people jumping off the Mayweather bandwagon like you would not believe.
Well, I think that's a great thing that what you just said, because would that be the final nail in the coffin for boxing?
I don't think so, because despite how bad it looks right now, boxing is actually starting to make a comeback with the PBC. The PBC, the Premier Boxing Championship, they've done layman's work putting top fighters against top fighters on regular TV. Not Showtime, not HBO, like ESPN, and even some free stuff on CBS and Fox. So
that's why we got him here.
Oh, I watch it all. But so there are some top fights of the best guys fighting the best guys, which is always the knock on boxing. For example, Danny Garcia, Philly boy, he lost because he had to fight a top guy. Close fight, but he lost. He would have never fought the guy if this was 5 years ago, because he would have never have had to.
Speaking of having to buy the fight, don't. Okay? Vinny Massington, our boy in here, StreamSmart.com. Vinny, drop the link in here. Get the HUD promo code, locked and loaded. Watch the fight for free. All MLB games, NFL around the corner, big boy. Come on, boys. It's around the corner. Get them all. You don't got to buy packages and all the extra nonsense. Let me give you a little statistic, too, people. All right? By 2025, all right, this is facts. I'm a man of facts. All right? By 2025, people the age of 32 or under will never pay a cable bill in their life. Okay? Get off of it. Toss it away. Drop the link in here, Vinny. Let these guys get their stream smarts. All the movies with your ladies. We talked about it. We talked about it on Sunday. You can watch a little Notebook and a little 50 Shades of Grey. Okay? What did I say, Rob? You're tying and crying. Tie, cry. Tie, cry. Tie, cry.
Real quick, Jay Lash, you're writing a book here, brother.
Twice.
You're writing a book, and I'm not going to be able to get the whole thing, man, but I love what you have to say. One thing I will pull from Jay Lash's 7 comments in a row is,
love it.
Fight will either go to a decision, which will be an embarrassment to boxing, or Conor knocks him out. People underestimate Conor and his ability and mental capability. Interesting. And I can't say that he's wrong, because Floyd isn't a knockout guy. Floyd is the guy that will dance for 12 rounds. he'll hit twice as many punches as you do, and he's going to take a unanimous decision.
Listen, I respect what guys say about Conor, but I think that's just believing in Conor's hype. I think you fall into the Conor hype. I mean, you're hoping that a guy who talks tough, walks tough, is tough, can go in and box. I mean, that's not what he does. I mean, you could say that he's got good hands and stuff. Nobody has Floyd hands.
No.
Nobody.
And I agree what he says to a point that, Conor does have a little bit more of a chance than people think. But you also have to remember, you've seen Conor in an MMA ring only. You've seen him where the thought of a takedown, and the thought of a kick coming, freezes some of these guys to where Conor looks like he can throw hands. I'm not saying he can't, but it magnifies that he's got more speed and more power in his hands because these guys are thinking he's going to shoot on them or he's going to throw a kick of somewhere.
Do you think he's fast enough to play that game?
No.
All right. Fair enough. I mean, I don't think so either. That's why I wanted you.
Even if he is fast, though, I just don't think he hits him.
Right, but he actually
Floyd's got the shoulder roll that everything's going to come off that shoulder.
Lash just came back with a good point, though, and it said he's been studying Floyd for years, basically since his fight was in its infancy. Don't you think he hasn't found a solution to counter the pull counter?
I'm not
Maybe.
saying he's
but you still got to execute it.
He's dead on, but when you get in the ring and Floyd's with the shoulder roll, and you're never going to hit the shoulder.
The 49 guys before who tried.
Yeah, like they didn't study him either.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I know he's getting older, and I get all that. Sean Spielman, oh my God, the best pound-for-pound fighter getting his tax evasion check. All you guys make fun and hate WWE. This is WWS.
Well, the rematch will be at WrestleMania.
Number one, there's only one guy in this room that hates WWE, and that's the lead dog. All the rest of us watch it.
When the rematch is at WrestleMania,
you're a problem.
We'll all be awesome.
There's a lot of crosstalk going on right now.
Yeah, listen,
I'm just gonna say
I did hear rumblings that if there is a rematch, it's going to take place in a UFC octagon instead.
I'd actually heard the same thing those same rumblings would. If there's a rematch, they're going to flip the script.
Well, there's no reason to, because if there's a rematch, that means Conor won first time. And if there's a rematch, then why would Floyd ever get in the Lions' Den?
Not necessarily though, because it could be, it could be that the first match goes to maybe a split decision, maybe a draw, and then Conor comes out with the WWE-esque. I want you in my arena. I want you in my ring. I want you in the octagon. See how you do then with 4-ounce gloves and me being able to kick you.
Oh, well, I'm putting everything I got on Conor.
Just flip everything.
You switch it all. Sean Spielman, Conor has no chance. Yeah, that's what we've been talking about. He is not Buster Douglas. That is going to land that one hit. Why? Because he is not a boxer in all caps. Completely agree. Chris Vicola. What up, Chris? Bro, world-class boxers can't touch Mayweather. How the fuck do you people actually expect Conor to land clean hits on Mayweather? Come on, people. Conor won't touch him, and Conor will get gassed by the 5th or 6th round. Hey, you're preaching to the choir. We've been saying it. We've been saying it for how long? We've been on for now. What time is it right now?
About a half hour.
Half hour ad nauseum talking about that. He has no shot.
Well, Conor's better at boxing. He's got better skills than the videos allow. That's totally sandbagging, no doubt about it. But even if he spends 40% of his training on boxing, which would be generous based on all the other styles and skills that he knows.
You're talking about his training for MMA, right?
Exactly. Okay. Complete training for MMA, 40% boxing. How does that match the 100% boxing of Mayweather? It doesn't.
It doesn't.
Spot on, brother.
Now let me play this devil's advocate. If you want to talk to me about a mid-class boxer that you're going to play this game with, then I'll say, okay, I'm going to give you a better shot, right? But when you're talking about the greatest boxer right this second, and like people are saying, one of the best pound-for-pound boxers of all time, if not the best pound-for-pound boxer of all time. If you think that 40% is going to translate, that's going to get your ass knocked out by the 2nd round, if not quicker.
From a guy who don't knock anybody out.
Yeah, from a guy who don't knock anybody out, because it just, I don't know. I mean, he's a big, strong guy, so he's gonna be able to take some licks. But have you ever got peppered like that?
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't know. You ever got peppered like that?
Yeah.
Not in a bar in London, Daddy.
No,
not in a bar in London.
I mean, the whole thing, realistically, it's going to wind up being anticlimactic. So if you are a fan of the spectacle, you need to get on board with this now. You need to enjoy this tour and the press conferences and all the shit talking and the fact that they have created this fake hate and they've taken political correctness and thrown it out the window because they're referring to each other using racist and sexist and bigoted terms. And I mean, the gloves are off for the press conference because the gloves have to be on for the fight. So get your fill of it now and enjoy it and laugh at it. And meanwhile, it's all free, but don't pay that $99.99 because all you're going to see is garbage.
And that's what at least I've always said leading up to it. The best part of the fight is going to be the press conferences.
Oh, yeah.
When those two are going back and forth at each other. And as Alicia mentioned in the chat, Conor did it in one of the press conferences today. I'm going to knock him out within the 4th round. So, we'll see what happens. Real quick, I want to touch on the Pacquiao thought you had.
Right.
And I thought he won it initially myself, but one of the guys I really listened to and respect as a broadcaster, Paulie Malignaggi, he said, watch the fight again, turn the volume off, and tell me if you scored differently. Don't look at CompuBox. Don't look at anything. He said he watched it in a bar in Brooklyn, or I think it's where
he couldn't hear anything.
Where he couldn't hear anything, couldn't hear Teddy Atlas going nuts, and he thought Horn won. It was close, but he thought Horn won. Now, thinking about that, and then hearing Bradley's, Bradley also saying this fight's a lot closer than maybe Teddy Atlas thought. So, I also thought that Pacquiao won, but it doesn't seem it's as unanimous as we might think it was that Pacquiao won.
Okay,
so
fair point.
When the rescoring came out, I think that kind of proved it.
Fair point.
Sorry, I just had to get that in.
It's okay.
Get it in.
Thought he
Get
looked,
it off your chest.
Tom had that look on his face like he was about to go with something, and I'm like,
Nah, I'm just looking at something. That's all.
Oh, there you go. And Jay Lash, Magliani is now in Conor's camp too, by the way.
Well, I heard that.
Interesting.
Yeah. But also, he says no as well. So, but that was always a possibility because I think an MMA fighter actually challenged Malignaggi too on the card. I think Cub Swanson came out and challenged Malignaggi to come out of retirement. Now that's a guy who Conor might be able to take because as good as Malignaggi is, doesn't throw the hands as quick as Floyd, right, and is more susceptible to a slug out, a knockout, drag out, slugfest to where Conor's hands might be able to catch him on the chin.
Right. What do you think, partner? Take a break, come back with some other stuff?
Yeah, we'll take a break, come back, and on the other side, we'll continue to talk the fight. Anybody wants to chime in talking the fight, we'll continue to fight. We'll talk Phillies Trade Talks, Eagles Talk, the Big Three, all that coming up on the other side. Tom,
Mike,
AM,
in the PM.
HUDRadio.com, and this segment was brought to you by Soap Stash LLC, the new soap standard. Find them on the web, soapstash.com, as well as Scanzano Sports, ScanzanoSports.com.
Keep coming.
We'll be right back. Stay locked in.
Fellas, you ever come in from that baseball or football game and your woman won't come near you because you stink beyond belief? Then you need Soap Stash. You should never settle for a generic hygiene product that only covers up the stench. Treat your skin with the best nutrients. Feel clean with the only soap you'll need. The highest grade carrier oils are ingrained in all of their products, which are 100% natural and terrific for your skin. no sulfates, parabens, or phthalates, and synthetic fragrance free. Contact Soap Stash for your sample package and give your woman what she deserves. You can contact Soap Stash at 844-890-3197 or visit them on the web at soapstash.com or Facebook at Soapstash LLC. Once again, their number is 844-890-3197. Soap Stash, the new soap standard.
Get your skills in shape, then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by The Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
Tom and Mike, AM and the PM, is brought to you by Gibson Mayer, LLC, Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Mike from Tom and Mike AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer, LLC, Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's www.gibsonmayer.com.
Tom Arnone, Big Mikey Smalls, Tom, Mike, AM, in the PM, only on A2DRadio.com.
Fellas, you ever come in from that baseball or football game and your woman won't come near you because you stink beyond belief? Then you need Soap Stash. You should never settle for a generic hygiene product that only covers up the stench. Treat your skin with the best nutrients. Feel clean with the only soap you'll need. The highest grade carrier oils are ingrained in all of their products, which are 100% natural and terrific for your skin. No sulfates, parabens, or phthalates, and synthetic fragrance free. Contact Soap Stash for your sample package and give your woman what she deserves. You can contact Soap Stash at 844-890-3197 or visit them on the web at soapstash.com or Facebook at Soapstash LLC. Once again, their number is 844-890-3197. Soap Stash, the new soap standard.
get your skills in shape, then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by The Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
You're listening to Tom and Mike, AM in the PM, on A2DRadio.com.
Fellas, you ever come in from that baseball or football game and your woman won't come near you because you stink beyond belief? Then you need Soap Stash. You should never settle for a generic hygiene product that only covers up the stench. Treat your skin with the best nutrients. Feel clean with the only soap you'll need. The highest grade carrier oils are ingrained in all of their products, which are 100% natural and terrific for your skin. No sulfates, parabens, or phthalates, and synthetic fragrance free. Contact Soap Stash for your sample package and give your woman what she deserves. You can contact Soap Stash at 844-890-3197 or visit them on the web at soapstash.com or Facebook at Soapstash LLC. Once again, their number is 844-890-3197. Soap Stash, the new soap standard.
Get your skills in shape, then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
Tom and Mike, AM in the PM, is brought to you by Gibson Mayer, LLC, Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Mike from Tom and Mike AM in the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer, LLC, Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's www.gibsonmayer.com.
You're listening to Tom and Mike, AM in the PM, here on A2DRadio.com.
Fellas, you ever come in from that baseball or football game and your woman won't come near you because you stink beyond belief? Then you need Soap Stash. You should never settle for a generic hygiene product that only covers up the stench. Treat your skin with the best nutrients. Feel clean with the only soap you'll need. The highest grade carrier oils are ingrained in all of their products, which are 100% natural and terrific for your skin. No sulfates, parabens, or phthalates, and synthetic fragrance free. Contact Soap Stash for your sample package and give your woman what she deserves. You can contact Soap Stash at 844-890-3197 or visit them on the web at soapstash.com or Facebook at Soapstash LLC. Once again, their number is 844-890-3197. Soap Stash, the new soap standard.
Get your skills in shape, then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer, LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
Welcome in to the worldwide leader of what? Real Talk, HUDRadio.com.
You're listening to Tom and Mike, AM in the PM, on A2DRadio.com.
Yeah, welcome back, Tom,
What up?
Mike.
That's all I got. That's all I got for you.
HUDRadio.com, Tom Arnott, Michael Matarak, Greg Moakovic, Rob Povey on the ones and twos. 2 years for me and Mr. Mataraki. Like we talked about to start the show off, we'll get the bubbly, we'll get in the tub, we'll get a nice soak. Whatever happens
Stays
at
in the hot
HUD
tub.
Radio stays at HUD Radio.
Hey, I'm secure in my manhood.
Me too.
We're good with that.
Me too. I'm married to a woman. And it ain't a front.
And I am not married at all.
He likes women.
And that's by design.
He likes women. We started the show off McGregor Mayweather matchup. Our poll question brought to you by Scanzano Sports. Find them on the web, scanzanosports.com. Does Conor McGregor have a legitimate shot to beat Floyd Mayweather? Yes, no, maybe, no effing way.
No effing way.
Let us know. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, ATD Radio is where you can find us. And every Wednesday night, we're brought to you by our certified public accountant. Make them yours, Gibson Mayer LLC. Find them on the web, gibsonmayer.com. Live from the BMW of Atlantic City studios. If you're just jumping back in with us, we're going to talk Phillies Trade Talks, Eagles Talk, the Big Three, all that wrap up the show tonight. So a lot in store. If you want to continue to talk the fight, we'll continue to talk the fight.
I think Greg had updated odds on that, too.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw
yeah.
out the odds out there to kind of show that Vegas is giving McGregor a little bit more of a shot than, maybe the purest boxing fans are. Currently right now, McGregor is a plus 525, and Mayweather is a minus 700. So for you non-junkies out there, you got to bet $700 to win $100 on Mayweather.
And
for every 100, for every 100,
bet 700 to get 800 back.
I believe McGregor has
for
no
McGregor,
shot.
$100 gets you $525.
But I believe McGregor has no shot. But when I'm in Vegas, I'm almost tempted to throw a 50 spot on McGregor and just be like, okay, well, whatever. It's $50 if he wins, you win a few bucks.
There's more people like you out there, and I'm going to talk to you guys right here in the camera. If you're going to throw away money, I need some. So if you're just going to throw it away on McGregor,
I won't.
Please take it and hand it to me.
I'm not. I'm saying Vegas.
Greg will take the bets.
Vegas-
Greg will take the action.
Vegas is making people take McGregor
Yes.
because obviously early money and a lot of it came in on Floyd.
Yeah.
So they have to equal it out somehow for them. That's why they make money. That's why they're the best in the business.
Sure.
Like we're the best in the business. But we don't take bets. But if you're willing to throw money around like Artie Del Campo,
Yeah.
okay, who's a fucking piece of shit. Let me clarify that for the people because I will crush people on air who, like, real quick story, all right, he wanted to, like, put games in, right? And I was putting him in through a buddy, helping him out. I do not play this anymore. I don't do this game anymore. Sean Marion, like, ruined my life. And we can talk about that another day. So I'm putting him in through a buddy of mine. Next thing I know, he sends me, like, a group of games, and I didn't get him in, but he thought they were in. So I was like, oh, crap.
Naturally, and he hit probably.
Yeah, and he hit. So I was like, all right, I'll just ride it myself then. Because he was putting so much in. I'm like, he's going to lose, right? Like, he just puts too much in. And then he started getting WNBA-ish. And I'm like, nobody knows WNBA. Not even the WNBA knows WNBA. So he ends up. So on Friday, he's up like 500. I'm like, damn. And I remember telling you this, right?
Yeah.
And next thing you know, did the tables turn? Because he went from being up 500 to being down like 360 by Sunday. But on Friday, he messages like, hey, we'll square up Sunday. Yeah, of course we will. Right?
But now he's down 360. You don't ever say that when
he
you're
disappears.
Up.
He works for Wildfire Radio, and Wildfire Radio is garbage as well. All right, let's clarify that for the people, too. And people who do shows on there, you can continue to throw away money and do shows on a shit network, or you can come with the big boys, the best in the business, and continue to, get better here. More people are going to see you. Proof's in the pud. So he's a piece of shit crumb. All right?
Well, he works for a station that does their shows out of a double wide.
True.
Not that I have a problem with anyone who lives in a double wide.
No, dude, teach their own.
But if you're putting on a radio show, you got to be a little professional about it. And a double wide is not the way to go.
No, and listen, you could say things about the A2D studios if you wanted to get cute. But at the end of the day, we're blocked off from a house. We're not inside my house.
And we got everything we need.
We got everything we need. We got a bathroom, got everything we need in here, got plenty of space.
Yep.
So, I mean, teach their own. And it goes to tell you, like, people trying to ask me if I want to rent out their studio space. Well, you want to pay for our platform, Daddy? Because that's where you should be doing. I ain't freaking paying nobody more money. We did that game before, and we got a 5/5 internet. Didn't work out well for us. we went from live video on every freaking platform to not even being able to stream audio for like a 6-month period of time.
To watching a hamster running the wheel.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable. Guy just selling you on fool's gold. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yep.
We're not here to sell you on fool's gold. But so that was the McGregor and Mayweather thing. We all three, and Rob included, for consensus, Mayweather, and I don't think any of us believe it's even close.
Right. I don't.
No,
Fair enough?
the whole question is exactly how long does it go, basically.
Yeah, really. And I like the no effing way. And it's good. You know, they're
it's an exclamation point.
Yeah, and they're lighting the lamps with things they're saying, so we can't put effing. Come on. So, Phillies Trade Talks, which is exciting to me. It's really exciting. And not only is it exciting, there's a lot of excitement right now with the Phillies. I'm happy right this second. And I'll explain why later. But what would the Phillies need to give up to land Stanton and Yelich, boys? I know you put yours out, and we went back and forth on some ins and outs.
I'm glad to rehash mine. I
Rehash
don't know if you wanted to use that as the lead-in to the overall why you're happy, or if you just want to take it step by step.
Well, I'll say why I'm happy. I've seen big-time adjustments out of Maikel Franco that make me happy because the guy's always, and there's no excuse for this slow start, but there's always been a little bit of a slow starter. And I think finally, Matt Stairs' message is getting through his head, and literally because his helmet's not falling off. So it's literally getting through his head, and when you see his head stay down and drive through, he has great results, and he shows you can hit at the big league level and hit big time at the big league level. Second thing I'm happy about, and I know the guy takes a lot of slack and he does some dumb things that make you laugh, but a double error for two reasons. One, if not, if you don't keep him, you can deal him in this deal because he's helping his value and helping the team. And if not, if you keep him, he's showing that he's a legitimate player. He's legitimate in my eyes, right? A legitimate starting center fielder in this league and could be an all-star. Because I just believe he's a pure hitter. Makes me happy.
He's one of those guys that, and we've talked about him at length. Like, he's just a bonehead.
Oh, yeah.
Like he's got all the ability in the world. And you're right. There's no questioning that he is a starting center fielder in Major League Baseball. If he wasn't such a bonehead, he'd probably be a top 5 to 7 center fielder in Major League Baseball.
Well, listen, there's work that needs to be done, but I'm just saying, like, I have no issue dealing him. You know how I feel about him. You know I like him.
Greg's just smirking.
I know, because
he's about to explode.
No, I'm just not a dual guy. And it's because of what we've, as you mentioned, talked about ad nauseum. The biggest thing I have with him is he is uber talented, and he shows flashes of it, but the guy just doesn't hustle a lick. That's the biggest thing I have with him. If you hustle half as much as you perceive you do, I think you're right. The Prusen, he's a top 15 just off of hustle alone, as young as he is. And I think, in this deal, there's number one. There's the Miami Marlins cheap starting center fielder for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I don't think it's any coincidence that this team started playing better when Nick Williams got comfortable.
There was the other happy.
Yeah.
There's my happy place. And the fact that Matt Klentak brought in Michael Saunders to play 3 months over Nick Williams just shows me his ineptitude as a general manager, in my opinion. He's running this like small market bullshit. And at some point, it's hey, Matt, you're lining pockets over there. Pockets are being freaking lined in the top 5 market, and we have one of the cheapest rosters in baseball. That's a freaking problem to me. Now, can it be solved? Yes. Can it be a weight game? Because, hey, we're not going to spend money just to spend money because guys are hitting the market soon. Okay, I'll buy into that. But the side I can't buy into is the babying of prospects, and it continues. I'll say it ad nauseum. Guys are going to become better hitters at the big league level. Stop watching averages at minor league levels. They don't have the video stuff that you have at the big league level. They don't have big league hitting coaches, big league players. They don't have all that stuff that you get at the big league level. There's a reason Nick Williams, who's really talented baseball player, has become a better hitter over a short time at the big league level. It's simple. So you trade Galvis, whatever you want to do, and it doesn't have to be just about Crawford, but it's gonna start there. It's time to bring him up. He's second in AAA in walks, and he's what, the youngest player in AAA still?
He's the youngest player in AAA, and yes, you were talking about the walks and the on-base percentage. He's the youngest player in AAA still. He's got a ridiculous amount of walks. We've already talked about the fact that he basically played 8 weeks with a strained groin, and when they sat him down for 10, 12 days, all of a sudden he came off the DL and he started raking. You know, the guy, he's got his moments where he loses a little bit of focus. He's young. He's 22 years old. I guarantee you put him in a stadium with a second deck on it, he's not going to lose focus. He's absolutely not going to lose focus.
I agree. That's just one guy. I mean, Kingery situation is a little tough because I'm a Hernandez guy. I think Caesar can play. We know he can play. So you got to figure out what you got to do there. But with the rest of it, it started with Nick Williams and J.P. Crawford, okay? Freddie Galvis, and I know people love Freddie Galvis around here, and I know Wilson went at it, and Linda always jokes around about it. But at the end of the day, he needs to be gone. Like Mike said last night, his value will never be higher than it is right now, okay? He's considered a great teammate, a leader of a 20, at the time when me and Wilson argued, a 29-win team. A little more now.
I got some breaking news here, and it's not related, but it's
That's fine.
Complete fucking horseshit. Dallas police have suspended their investigation of an alleged assault that a source said involved Ezekiel Elliott due to lack of a complainant.
Yeah, that's Jerry.
How much did Jerry pay this stiff to just go away?
Money worth spent.
Hey, you shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
True.
Yeah, that's my fantasy running back.
Tony Cotillo. I'll take Stanton. They can keep Yelich. And his reason, we have plenty of Yelich in our farms and nothing special. I'm going to disagree because I'm doing the deal for Stanton, but Yelich is enticing me to take on not that the money matters, but Yelich is like, yep, because I'm not going to give up a ton of product just for Stanton.
I'm the opposite. I'm doing the deal for Yelich, and I'll take Stanton off your hands.
That's what I mean. I'm taking Stanton's contract. I'm doing the deal for Yelich because I love Christian Yelich.
Yes.
And he's a puppy, too.
He's the best player no one talks about.
Yeah.
Right. And if you look
you mean the overrated Yelich? Yeah, I heard about him on Tuesday.
Yeah, if you look at Yelich right now, I mean, he's a 300 hitter with 10 bombs in a ballpark that is obviously not conducive to power unless your name is Stanton, Ozuna, or Justin Bour. Could you imagine, if you will, allow me to take you on a journey to Christian Yelich batting third and Giancarlo Stanton batting fourth with half of their games in Citizens Bank Park? Yelich becomes a 30-home run guy, and Stanton could be a 50-home run guy.
I got no problem with a 20-20-20 guy on my club.
Stanton is knocking people out in Ashburn Alley waiting for a cheesesteak in line.
Oh, yeah.
That's what's happening.
So Tony Cotillo, now we're back on the same side because he says Phillies use the word seasoning more than any other club in baseball. And listen, I put a lot on Matt Klentak and McPhail, but I start up top, and I started at ownership because this has been the way it's been here for a long, long time.
Right.
And at some point, somebody in the organization that's not owner has to have more of a say in this, if this is the case.
But Tommy, we thought it was going to be John Middleton. John Middleton was the guy who exerted his authority with his percentage of the ownership and said, we're never going to be in a position where we don't have 12 or 13 different entities that own a portion of the team, but I'm going to be the controlling owner and I'm going to be that voice. And everyone was great about it. And, he was the one that was responsible for bringing in McPhail, and then he and McPhail brought in Klentak. and everything looked like it was going in the right direction, and we were hyped on the idea that they were going to bring in some analytics to supplement the eye test and the scouting department and everything like that. Now, for my money, I think Johnny Alvarez is the most advanced guy in the organization because he runs the scouting department, because he seems to be the only one who knows what he's doing.
Well, humor me here for a second, right? Is a lot of this knocking on Clentak because we are as abysmal as we are right now? If they were hovering around 500, which everyone kind of thought they were going to be, be about a 75 to 85 win team, have some stretches where you're playing some really great baseball, but have some Philly stretches where, you probably might go lose 10 out of 12. If we're a 500-ish ball club, are we still having this call for anybody and everybody? And I'm not saying it's not warranted. I'm just saying, if we were better, would we still be calling for?
No, and you make a great point, but here's the thing.
I would.
Yeah, and I would too, because regardless of the record, even if they're playing, what are they, 31 and 51 now? Even if they were 40 and 42, you still got guys in the minor leagues that are the future of this team that are just tearing the cover off the ball. And to Tommy's point, a lot of these guys are only going to get better as they come up.
Sure.
I mean, you could go position by position on the diamond, and you could say, at this point, Knapp has taken over as the starting catcher, but Alfaro is better than Knapp and Rupp. Hoskins is better than Joseph. Kingery will be better than Caesar. Crawford will be better than Galvis if he's not already. Franco is Franco. We'll see what happens there. We talked a couple weeks ago about the fact that they drafted multiple third basemen because they're not sold on Franco.
Yeah, and that's where I differ from them.
And that's fine. I mean, you certainly can.
I'm not saying overly sold, but he's a young player still, and he shows that he can hit for power in this league and drive in runs.
Yeah, I mean, and you have whatever combination you want to have in the outfield of your, Williams, Herrera, is it Altair, Cousins, Perkins, because Nava's not going to be on this team.
No,
I mean, whatever the case may be. But to me, going back to the original point of this is when you look at the fact that you know the team is not going anywhere, but you're not going to keep developing guys at that level. At some point, they've outperformed their level of assignment, if you will.
And and to my point, it was just like, yes, the call would still be there for these guys, but we wouldn't be, with pitchforks in our hands till after the deadline. We would give these guys a little bit more time to get their value, because if they're playing a 40 and 41 or whatever, if they're playing better baseball, then there's a better product out there. And we know that although the pups are better, at least we're not watching these guys blow leads.
Well, yeah, I mean, if there's a better product, there's a better product on the field.
We're letting the process take its course to where we all knew and thought was going to be the deadline anyway. You know what I mean? Now we're jumping the gun a little bit because the product is dismal. The product is terrible.
I agree on some of that point, that we wouldn't be as relentless with wanting all the kids up, but I still would want Crawford and Williams up. I mean, there would be no questions no matter how we were playing. I would want them up ASAP because I wanted them up before the season.
Right. Well, that's true. But,
so I haven't wavered.
Even before the season, and I agree with you, they probably should have been up anyway.
Well,
but
I think
they weren't coming up till June at earliest.
Well, that's where the mistake is. That's where the mistake lies at, right there, right then and there. Because I'm not the one who went out and signed freaking Howie Kendrick. I'm not the one who went out and signed Michael Saunders. Okay, these rentals. All right, I'm fine with Daniel Nava because he's a good veteran guy to have in your clubhouse. You can sell me on that one. Okay, but to not have both of them up with the kids you already have in place, and have Alfaro up and say, hey, Rupp, it's been a pleasure. Okay, all before we break camp with Crawford, Williams, Alfaro up. All right? If you wanted to give it to Joseph, to let him start it off, I'll live with that one, okay? But the rest of that, the other three of them, there's no reason they shouldn't have been up. Jake Thompson should have been in his starting rotation, okay? That's on Matt Clintack, all right? The yo-yo Jake Thompson's on him.
Yeah.
So I haven't wavered, and I think Mike's right with me. Out of camp, out of spring training, I wanted these guys in the starting lineup with the kids because I wanted them to learn how to grow together. I didn't need rental goddamn players.
And
when I had a top five farm system in baseball. So that's playing Tampa Bay Rays baseball. That's who you are.
Well, let me tell a little story about the.
Sorry, I get fired up.
No,
It drives me
you're not
crazy.
wrong though.
The Nick Williams situation. 2 years ago, when the Phillies made that trade to the Rangers and they got Nick Williams. Nick Williams at that point was a double-A ball player, okay? Nick Williams drove 24 hours from Texas to Reading, basically slept for 3-4 hours, and got put in the lineup that night batting third behind J.P. Crawford. At that point in time, and people could check me on this if they want, that point in time, Reading was 4 games back in their division. From the time that they acquired Williams to the end of the season, they went from 4 games back to winning the division by 4 games. At an 8-game stretch, just from the Hamels trade to the end of the Double-A season. Williams was the catalyst for all that. To me, Williams and Crawford need to be attached at the hip as much as Utley was to Rollins, or Rollins was to Howard, or Howard was to Burrow. However you want to position it. To me, J.P. Crawford is a much more comfortable player, and he's a much more productive player when you put him in the 2 spot, you leave him there, and you have Nick Williams batting behind him. It's just a comfort level, and we all know that baseball players are creatures of habit. Mm-hmm. So, last year at Double-A and Triple-A, sometimes you got Williams batting behind you, but sometimes you have Cousins batting behind you, and sometimes you have Hoskins, and sometimes it was Joseph, and whatever. And
nobody knows more about this than this guy too. I'm just clarifying for the freaking people.
I mean, it's just one of those things where, as ridiculous as it sounds, because you think when you go up to the plate, you just have a job to do, and ideally you'd like to say, yeah, that's the case, but all 3 of us coach it, we played it, we know it. You just function better when you're hitting in front of or behind certain guys.
Comfort level.
It's comfort level.
Yeah. We used to joke during summer ball. Guys, we were 3, 4, 5 in the lineup at one point, and our room number was like 223 at the first hotel we stayed in, so it was like 223. And you said a comfort level, and I know it's not the same level, but you just had a comfort level knowing, hey, this guy's in front of me, this guy's behind me, whatever the case may be, and you just get baseball players are creatures of habit.
So bringing this whole thing back around, if you're going to include Williams in a trade for Stanton, you might as well send Crawford, or you keep both of them. And I'm of the mind to keep both of them. I'm thinking, for me, the deal has to start, as much as you're going to hate it, the deal has to start with Herrera, because they're going to have to get back a major league center fielder. It could have started with Roman Quinn if this guy could just stay on the field, but he can't. So it's got to start with Herrera. Then they're going to want a power bat, and they're going to have to replace a corner outfielder, so you figure Cousins has to go. And I'm fine with that. Mm-hmm. If you're getting Stanton, a right-handed power bat, I'm plenty fine with giving up Cousins, the left-handed power bat.
Yeah.
So Herrera, Cousins. Then they're going to want a pitcher. So Jake Thompson, thank you very much for your service. We're done with Matt Klentak screwing you up. We're going to let you go to Florida. Will you just be a starter? They're probably going to want another pitcher, and I'm guessing it's either going to be Eflin or Lively, or at this point, maybe Mark Leiter Jr., because he's actually pitched well when they've, again, to your point, put him in the rotation and let him stay there. When he starts, he's fine. When he comes out of the pen, it's a coin flip. So there's going to be, a second pitcher in there, and then they're going to want some low-level guys. They may be looking for a Nick Fanti, who just threw was involved in his second no-hitter of the season. They may ask for Sixto Sanchez. I'm not giving him up at all. Cornelius Randolph, the guy's really picked it up lately. Maybe we can drop him in there. Or a Mickey Moniak. I don't necessarily want to give up Moniak, but if Adam Hazley is as good as he's shown so far, he's going to pass Moniak. And if we're getting Yelich in the deal, we already have Moniak. Yep. That was the comparison, that Mickey Moniak was, Christian Yelich-esque. Mm-hmm. So for me, to get those 2 back, to have Stanton and Yelich, you're looking at least Herrera, Cousins, Thompson, Eflin or Lively, maybe Leiter, probably another low-level pitcher, which maybe it's Franklin Kilome, maybe it's Nick Fanti. They're going to want Sanchez. I probably balk at that. And then maybe a Randolph or, a Moniak or, with all of the infield injuries they've been having down there over the last 3 weeks, I might see if I could drop like a Malkin Canelo in there. A guy who could, basically play second, short, and third at the major league level right now. Defensively, it may just take him a year before he hits. It's going to take a lot.
Oh, yeah.
But here's the thing is that everyone's saying, well, you're going to have to give up Nola, or you'd have to give up Williams, or you'd have to give up Kingery. No, you wouldn't. You're taking on $220 million of salary.
That's what we're giving up.
You're going to have to give up bodies, but you're not going to have to give up top-tier prospects.
No, yeah. I mean, you're right. You got to start with some major league talent because they're going to need to replace what they're giving up.
Yeah. Right.
So whether it's Cousins, Altair, I think you're right with Herrera. I think he's all, because he's a cheap.
And he's under control for 5 years
under control
now. Right.
For a couple of years for the new owner to come in can pay him. And outside of, and to your point, when we're taking back Stanton's contract, I think Corey Simon said it the other day on Post Game Live, the Phillies outside of Herrera have $3 million signed the next year.
Right. Well,
outside of Herrera.
The total for next year is only $23 million, and that accounts for Herrera plus having to tender every guy that's under their control.
So yeah, we could take Stanton.
Yeah.
And to your point, when you're taking that contract, we don't have to give up all the pups.
Right.
We got to give up a couple.
Yeah.
We got to give up a couple, but we don't got to give them all up. And to that, there's very few I balk at. I'm with you on maybe the Kingery and the Sanchez. But in reality, if you want them, who else you giving me?
Yeah.
You gave me D. Gordon, Marcelo Ozuna. Like, if we're going to go big,
go big.
Go big.
Go big or go home.
Go big. If we're trading buses, let's trade buses.
Right.
I mean,
I completely agree on that.
Like if Sixto's in it, if Kingery's in it, all right, if Kingery's in it, I want D. Gordon back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I completely agree. Go big or go home. Just throw us in and deal too.
Yeah.
We'll take him.
We'll take the best outfield in baseball.
But no,
put him in this bandbox.
Listen, I would put Herrera, Altair in the deal because I don't need Altair either.
Right.
Okay. And I will.
See, I like Altair just because he's a right-handed stick that can play all three outfield positions. He becomes a real valuable fourth outfielder. But if it's going to take him being included to get the deal done, see ya.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it. Because I'd rather give you some of these major leaguers off my roster and still be able to keep some of the younger guys moving forward.
Right.
But I'll still give you Cousins. I had no issue there. So now you got 3 outfielders. Here you go.
Yeah.
And one's still. So you got 2 to replace. They can replace what you had, and then you have a young guy, and then we get you on the what do you call it? And then we get you, and then we give you some arms.
Yeah. A few arms, and we'll take all that money.
Yeah.
And
we
still
take $200 million off your plate
because of Yelich's team-friendly deal as well. You still have money to then potentially go after. If you want to go Bryce Harper, if you want to go Manny Machado, you still have that flexibility and that money to still do that.
Well, and then
while everybody else is young and fairly cheap.
Right, and then there's there's that certain element that says, well, don't you worry that Stanton will just opt out after 2020. No,
okay.
No, I don't.
But okay,
I don't. Well, if he does, okay, great. He's no longer.
He's an idiot.
He's no longer on the books.
He's an idiot.
But his contract is backloaded. Most of his money falls between 2020 and I think it's 2025. Yeah. And in 2020, he's going to be, 31 years old? Rocketing 50 to 55 homers at a Citizens Bank Park. You think he's going to opt out of that?
Yeah,
I don't.
You take him on until he's 37 years old, essentially. There's nothing crazy about the deal that even hurts you when he's 37 years old because he's a pure power hitter. You know what I mean? The guy can still hit probably 35 home runs when he's 37. Yeah. It's just who he is. So I have no issue with the deal. Now, if he went in the 40, and I'm a little why? But still, with the money they have, it's chump change.
Right. Like you said, top 5 market. The only hesitation, and it's very, very slight, is the injury concern with Stanton. But again, I'm making the deal for Yelich, so I could give 2 craps what happens with Stanton because, we need to fill a major league roster anyway. So if he gets hurt for 40 games, okay. Maybe he only hits 30 bombs instead of 50.
Yeah, right.
It's possible.
But I have no issue with it. I want to give up prospects, yeah. And like me and Mike were talking about, I feel like that if I give you Moniak, you're not getting Randolph. If you're getting Randolph, you're not getting Moniak.
Yeah, I mean that's an either-or proposition.
Yeah, so for that,
and it's the same thing with the arms. I mean, you probably given up Thompson, but if you're looking at like Eflin, Lively, and Leiter, you're not getting all three of them. You're not even getting 2 out of the 3. You pick one.
Yeah, pick one.
Yeah.
And then if you want to talk, the young arms, we're not giving you Sixto Sanchez, but here's Nick Fanti and Franklin Killoane. Pick one. We'll give you a fair return, but you're not going to just take what you want.
Well, I know you're not going to like this, but with Franco heating up and the Yankees dealing for Todd Frazier, I would like to see the Red Sox come calling for Michael.
Well, I mentioned that the other day that they were already in discussions with for Nishek. As soon as I saw Panda got DFA'd, I actually threw it out there on social media. I said, Panda just got DFA'd. Here comes the Maikel Franco and Pat Neshek to Boston rumors.
Yeah, and they got to keep up with the Yankees.
Here's the thing. It almost makes too much sense.
It does.
Like, it's scary how much sense it makes.
I mean, you put him and his changed hitting in the Fenway,
Yeah.
I mean.
But then, okay, so you make that deal, and now you're going with Machado?
I mean that's you gotta figure that's the target then in the offseason is Machado.
That's fine, and I was Mr. Manny Machado, but it is concerning, to say the least, that a guy's up in a contract year and hasn't played well. It hasn't played well at all, and I just wonder if you guys are willing to still back up trucks to get him still. Has anything changed in your guys' opinion of Manny Machado?
I say no, only because if you look at that entire Orioles team has underachieved this year, and no one in that lineup is hitting basically besides Jonathan Scope, which Jonathan Scope isn't providing protection for Machado or Adam Jones or Chris Davis. I mean, Chris Davis was out for a while. I think the whole issue with Boston and the beanball thing early in the season got into Machado's head a little bit. He also could be one of the guys who, unfortunately, maybe has the WBC hangover. Yeah,
I was just about to say, he played great in the WBC. He was phenomenal, ironically, at shortstop.
Yeah.
But no, I still back it up. I still do. I think, to Mike's point with the strange season that Baltimore's had, I think a change of scenery is exactly what he needs to maybe come to an energized franchise and an energized fan base that can, can help him out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to use the word sour on him, but I was really feeling him at the beginning. You know what I mean? Like going into the season, like he was the target, he's the guy I wanted, blah 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 blah. But it does concern me though when a guy in the time where he's going to get paid now that the World Baseball Classic maybe play a part where he's a little just worn down. I don't know. Yeah, maybe, but nobody else is that really played in it. Does that play a part? Does playing for the Orioles, who are playing for nothing, and like you said, not really an energized franchise at the moment, does that affect them?
Oh,
if that's all playing a part, I don't want a guy like that.
Back up 2 steps.
Right, though? I mean, if that's the case where he just flakes out on the squad, I don't know how much I love him.
Just take a look at the Phillies that played in the World Baseball Classic. There's only one of them that's actually maintained pace through the whole season, and that's Neshek. Yeah. Alfaro started hot, and he's dipped. Neris and Herrera. And that's just here at home. I mean, I couldn't give you the same numbers for everyone that played in the WBC, but I think there is actually something to that. And, I mean, gun to your head, Maikel Franco or Manny Machado, for me it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I'm taking Machado all day.
And Rob joked about it earlier when he mentioned the overrated Christian Yelich. Well, Christian Yelich played great, had a phenomenal WBC out of the 3-hole. And, yeah, he did struggle a little bit. So again, there's another guy who, is that a little bit of the hang-up or the hangover?
But his struggle is 295.
Sure, yeah.
As opposed to, other guys struggling at 235.
Yeah. He's not hitting 300. Oh, darn.
Yeah. So.
Oh, listen, if you're talking to me about, Franco or Machado, I'm gonna take Manny. But I just wondered if things have changed in your guys' opinion. That's all, of where we were, middle of the year, not middle of the year, but middle till now of the year, where we were on them compared to now. Because I know before we were talking about, I'm like, Machado, Franco's out. Franco's starting to hit better. I just wondered if anything changed.
Not for me.
No, I mean, if the Phillies decide that they're going to ride the Maikel Franco train for as long as they can, I'm fine with it. But I think they're doing themselves a disservice if they don't really make an aggressive push for Machado.
And so you think 5 for 2 gets it done for Stanton and Yelich, or 6 and 2? What do you think gets it done?
Good old Von Hayes, 5 for 1.
10 for 2.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're in that 5-6 range, depending on how deep you go at the major league level. Whether maybe you go, because again, you probably don't need them both, Altair and Cousins, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Just like, just throwing names out there. I mean, I like Mike's group. What was that? 6 guys.
It's probably 6 or 7 guys.
Yeah.
And I'd also floated the idea out there that if you never ever want to see Adam Morgan again, you toss an extra arm in there and you see if you can't get Adam Conley, the kid who started last night for the Marlins. Right. See if you can't get Adam Conley to fill that left-handed long relief spot starter swing role and just say goodbye to Adam Morgan for forever.
Right.
Which I would absolutely love.
You could do it with the whole bullpen. See you.
So, all right.
It was interesting, though, because I did see Wilson's comment last night that they've never even discussed Stanton, that it's always been Yelich. But I think the Yelich talks actually were a genesis of supposedly Stanton and others being offered around the league because Loria is having a hard time selling the Marlins with all that money on the books. So, maybe the initial discussion was Yelich, but it was floated out there under the guise of Stanton and others.
Well, if that's true, it's because they know the prize is Yelich, and whoever they're going to get to take Yelich, you're also taking Stanton, because you're right. Loria cannot pay Giancarlo Stanton. They can't pay him. No. He's too much money.
Way too much.
Well, and they're drawing what, like 6,000-7,000 a night if they're lucky.
It's brutal.
Yeah,
brutal. New park, can't sell tickets there. It's when you talk about small market, it's under that.
Yeah.
And he's got to get it off the books. That's why I almost feel like, man, that if you come with 2 major league outfielders in Herrera and Altair, and you come with 2 prospects in some sort, that you can get that deal done. I almost believe you can get it done a 4 for 2, just because they got to get the money off the books. And what teams in the league are willing to take on $200 million? I mean, outside of the big boys, there's not many. Nobody else is going to take it on. And who needs to take it on right now? Does anybody need to?
Well, that's the other thing. Yeah, that's it. The big boys don't need to because their outfields are set. So you're in a great spot where we talk about Sam Hinkie in his prime, where you get a little fleece. Yeah.
I mean, I almost think that you get Altair, Herrera, and 2 prospects and steal them too because of the money.
Because of the money. It's quite possible.
It's definitely possible for sure.
The whole thing, though, with what you're talking about, it's less than a small market. I know this is never a popular topic, but if there was ever a basis, we'll call it, for either contraction or relocation, it's Florida.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
For me, I would love to see them take the Rays and the Marlins, merge them into one team, put them in Orlando, where they could actually capitalize on Orlando being the entertainment capital of southeastern United States, and then take the team that is now disbanded and put them in Charlotte or Portland or any of these other cities that they're looking at possibly expanding to. Put a team back in Montreal. Make the jump to Mexico. Do something. But for Major League Baseball to expect the state of Florida, as transient as it is, to support 2 Major League Baseball teams with all of the minor league squads that are down there and everything like that, it's just ridiculous.
It is. Nobody goes to Rays games too, and it's a freaking a trash can of a stadium. I mean, there's nothing that draws you in there. They've talked down there for so long about building a stadium in St. Pete, and St. Pete's never gone through with the deal. I mean, they've had numerous plans that I've seen drawn out at the Rays Stadium talking about the new home of the Rays over a water backdrop and everything that's beautiful, and you can do all that you want. And the reason the city of St. Pete's never bought into it is because nobody will freaking go.
Yeah.
Okay?
There's no one there.
You have to have a dome stadium down there because it's too freaking hot. It's a retractable roof. But to Mike's point, yeah. I mean, Miami's not going to work. Okay? It works for football because they've been around forever. All right? And
football's only 8 games.
So you can sell. You can sell.
Miami,
it's not 82.
Look, Miami didn't even sell out World Series games. I mean, they didn't.
No.
This is a team that's won 2 World Series, and they never sold out World Series games. At least the Rays, you could say that when they were in the series, they did sell it out.
No, that's true.
Orlando might be tough, but the premise is there because Orlando's losing the Braves. The Braves are going down even further south because the pretty boy pro players don't feel like taking the bus anymore for spring training rides. So they're going to go further south down, I think it's Sarasota area, to make everyone closer so the bus rides are a lot less.
Right.
My parents live in Orlando, so I get the inside scoop.
Yeah, they're
But
leaving Wide World of Sports.
Yeah, they're leaving Wide World of Sports, even though I think Wide World of Sports is redoing that whole complex. The Astros left Kissimmee, which is very close.
Well, that's kind of what I was thinking because I know, wasn't it the Astros and the Royals that used to share Kissimmee like years ago?
Yeah.
I actually think that area in Kissimmee where – it used to be Boardwalk in baseball, and now it's just, the big complex, whatever. I actually think that's the ideal spot to build a Major League Baseball stadium and call them the Orlando whatever.
Yeah.
You talk about sellouts there before, Mike, with the Marlins not being able to in the World Series. This came out this week. The longest active streak was the San Francisco Giants. It ended at 530 straight sellouts. Not a surprise because they're slumping hard this year. Mad Bomb being out most of the year. So that was I think the second longest to the Red Sox, and during up until I think 2011, I believe I heard.
Interesting.
Wow.
Very interesting. And it's funny too with the size of Fenway and Wrigley, and you feel like they're always sold out, even though the reality is they're not always completely sold out. There's a few stray seats here and there. But so I mean, do I think a deal for Stanton and Yelich is doable? I absolutely do. It just kind of depends on how big of a nutsack Matty K wants to show.
And the more stories you hear on it, the more it becomes believable. Because when there's smoke, there's fire.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and whether everyone wants to say, "Oh, these are unconfirmed," no, they're confirmed. There's real conversations going on, and I think you're right. It's just a matter of, do you want to put them in the wheelbarrow and say, "Hey, let's roll," or do you want to, shrivel up?
Yeah.
Well, time will tell. I mean, like I said, Matt Klentak hasn't sold me at all, and he needs to do a lot of work to prove me wrong on how I feel about him.
But unbeknownst, Greg just gave us the greatest segue in the history of this show. Because you want to talk about guys putting him in a wheelbarrow, that'd be one Mr. Doug Pederson.
Well, he doesn't, this guy just doesn't like Doug. So, I mean, whatever he says in this conversation, I take with a grain of salt. Because any person out there that didn't like Doug Pederson saying that, we have enough talent on it, this roster's more talented than, the Packers teams in the 90s. Well, that's just confidence to me. That's just letting it set a precedent.
That's what a coach is supposed to say.
We're a confident football team. I got a confident roster that I'll take it all on the chin if need be. If this isn't a playoff team, it falls on me. And I like guys that are willing to take full responsibility. This guy's a player's coach. This guy's played the game. And the guys who played the game at the quarterback position that weren't good are usually pretty good coaches. And, yeah, did he make some boneheaded calls last year that people could say? Sure. But did he wheelbarrow his sack out all the time? Yeah. Showing confidence in his football team, 4th and 1s numerous times. That's just saying early on that I'm changing the culture here. I'm going to do things a different way here. Okay? I'm not going to be Chip Kelly, but if we can't get a 4th and 1, I'm going to show my line, my running back, that I got confidence that you get in the yard. And people crushed that last year. And then people are fucking morons. Plain and simple. Anybody that crushes a guy in his first year on a team that's not going to be a fucking playoff team, okay, that has a problem with that, you shouldn't watch football. Go fucking watch soccer because you don't deserve to ever watch football ever.
And the F-bombs are flowing.
Confidence. And I don't understand why any Eagles fan out there has an issue with it. Why? Take off the Doug. I'm not talking to you, but the Doug. Maybe.
You are.
Maybe. The Doug hats out there, they hate him. Take the goddamn hat off for a minute and just look big picture.
That was confidence. I agree.
From a cultured locker room that was in disarray under the former regime. Everything he's done since the former regime has been to change the culture of this football team, to change the locker room, to be a player's guy, to be gutsy, to be ballsy.
But he did keep the protein shakes because apparently they were good.
Right? Right?
But
in his first year on a team that's not going to win, not going to be a playoff team, with a rookie quarterback, right? He was gutsy. He was ballsy at times. What's wrong with that? Right or wrong? If he gets a 4th and 1, he's a rock star. If you don't get it, he's stupid. We know how the gig works. But in your first year, to take chances and to start putting trust into your players, what's wrong with that?
I'm going to take it in a little different direction, and I don't disagree with you, but I actually think this is a stroke of brilliance. And I think what it is that for all these people that are saying that Doug is, for lack of a better term, dumb, or he lacks media savvy, or maybe he's just not quite as ready for the primetime spotlight of being an NFL head coach as certain other guys want him to be. To me, this is brilliant because basically what he's doing is he's, A, motivating his team. He's setting an expectation for his team, for these guys to show up at camp ready to roll because he's now laid an expectation on them. But he's also taken the bullseye off of his quarterback and he's put it on himself. And to go along with putting the target on himself, he's actually explained why he does the things that he does. And he's actually invoked the whole analytics and looking at the numbers and percentages and position on the field and defensive tendencies and all that stuff. And Doug, to me, actually showed me over the last week that he's a hell of a lot smarter than we gave him credit for, simply because he doesn't speak well when he stands at a podium.
Listen to the man talk, Mr. Milakovic. Listen, let it sink in. Because your Doug hate has...
No, my Doug hate is I'm just not sold after a year.
Why?
My bad.
But who's asking you to be sold?
You are. Because I can't go watch... I got to go watch soccer now.
No. I just said that if you had... For anybody out there, not you, who had issues with him going on 4th and 1... You had that many issues with 4th and 1s.
I don't remember every circumstance, but there are some where I was like, dude, I know it's your first year, but come on, play the percentages here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
listen,
it matters.
That was a confidence absolute statement, yes. My post was just to draw a rise out of you because I knew it would. But what else is a head coach supposed to say a week before training camp?
Yeah.
Well, my team's going to be the Cleveland Browns this year? But the other thing, too, is every team in this NFL is better than those 90 Packers team. Just the talent level alone in the NFL is purely better.
Well, you know who he's really, and it just shows me how much he believes in Carson. Because to make this statement, okay, he's got to love this kid.
Well,
you got to love this kid because he's the whole, he's all that matters. If he's a stud, this franchise goes to the next level. If he's not, we know what happens.
You want me to get jazzed up? put that photo of Carson in North Dakota with all 8 wide receivers.
No, yeah.
That gets me jazzed up.
There you go.
You know, again, I'm not sold on Doug Pederson. Do I hate him? Yeah, probably. But do I understand he's going to be here?
Hater.
You know what I mean? Do I understand
But why hate?
Well, I'm just not a hate. That's just I didn't like how he got the position.
I understand
He wasn't the right. I don't think he was the right guy.
But guess who wins? Guess who wins? Guess who always wins at the end of the day?
The owner.
No.
Andy Reid.
No.
Quarterbacks.
No. The non-sexy name.
That's true.
The non-sexy name always wins.
Well, I didn't want a sexy name, to be honest.
But my point, like all the sexiness, you know, when Chip came in, and it was sexy.
Yeah.
And it worked for a year and then stopped. Right? Any sexy hire usually doesn't work.
And he wasn't sexy. And look how long he was here.
So, I mean, listen, I believe that he learned from Daddy. And what he learns from Dad, I believe in terms of in terms of being a head coach.
And Grandpa.
Yeah, in terms of being a head coach, I believe that. And twofold why I like him, he's been around so much greatness from coaching levels to players. I buy into that. That matters to me. I mean, that rubs off. And to think it doesn't, it has to, right?
I just want to see more from him in this second year. Again, I know he's not going anywhere. You know, so yes, my blinders have come off a little bit just because I know I have to live with him.
Right.
You know what I mean? But to your point, if Carson stinks, that's on him because it's on Carson. But the first guy that's going to go is Doug.
Right.
You know, because obviously we know Howie's not going anywhere either.
Right.
You know, but I want to see. As much as we want to see from Carson, I want to see more from Doug from a game management standpoint this year.
And that's a fair point, but I'll tell you this, and I'll make my point, and I'll just get out of that side of the discussion. If I went back and I looked at every quote-unquote questionable call that Doug made last year, there is literally one play that I can't forgive. And that's not kicking the field goal in Dallas to go up 13. When your kicker had already hit from that distance in that direction with, and the roof's closed, so it really does. The direction doesn't matter at all. But that is literally one questionable call out of the entire season that I want back. The rest of it for me was a first-year head coach's learning experience.
No, and I don't disagree with that. That one call in Dallas. The only point to it would be the other side of it is if he gets it, they go score a touchdown, they end up winning that football game, and it's a dagger statement. So I mean, it's so hard. But yeah, the lead points off the board when you don't convert and you end up changing possessions. Yeah, you can look back and say, man, I don't like that call. But if they make it and it's ballsy and it works, and they put another nail in the coffin. Well, then you love the call, and then the whole season changes. It could change. So, and vice versa. If they kick the field goal, with the way that game worked out, maybe they don't win the game anyway. But I like the confidence.
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
Now you can definitely say, hey, some calls are probably wrong, and guys can go back and look at tape and say, hey, he's made a lot of boneheaded calls. That's fine. That's also his first year running, having the whole show to run. And I think that's a learning experience too. So a lot ties into it, but the demeanor, and I think he's a great locker room guy for guys, and I think he's great for Carson, and I think Frank Reich and the guys that surround Carson are huge for him. And like I said, it all lies on Carson.
That's where I will give him credit, though. He did surround himself with some very good assistant coaches.
No question.
Schwartz, Reich, down the board. So
not a QB coach who I'm name's drawing a blank on.
Filippo.
Yeah, Carson's boy too. And, that matters.
So, and here's to that point though, the other piece that he came out with this week that I just thought was almost. It was so simple that it was almost too brilliant. When he said, when we start camp this year, we're going to have the coordinators and myself will be with the ones, and all the position coaches are going to be with the 2s and 3s, and the 2s and 3s are going to have more live periods to develop that sense of competition for roster spots, whereas myself and the coordinators with the ones will be doing install. And I was just like, wow.
Smart thinking.
Why don't more coaches do that? I mean, that's the stuff that you see in high school and in college where when you know who you're going to have, 1 o'clock Sunday afternoon on the field, you're going to invest that time with them, and you're going to have the others fight it out to see who's going to be on that squad.
Every time you make a good point, I
I know
look
you just
over
stare at him.
and stare at him to get him
But-
to get him on the horse here.
I'm waiting for my ring.
I agree with you that it's probably smart because you're right. You can implement more in that sense. However, if you're not watching the 2s and 3s as much, you don't truly know what you're going to get out of them when you put them in the game.
But if you
But
trust,
you only trust your coaching staff.
You're
you do.
right. But what happens when they screw up on this guy? Are you going to trust them on that guy? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying what he's doing is wrong because you're right. He can implement, as I mentioned, implement a lot more quicker than trying to implement it all, 96?
Right.
Right, he could take his 22, 27 guys.
Yeah.
that's who you're going to win at the end of the day.
You
anyway.
are, but an injury happens.
No, I get that.
You
but,
know what I mean? And
but
you still have to know and have the confidence in your guys. Sure, you have the confidence in your coaches, and I'm hoping we have a lot better than Craig Lewis coaching our wide receivers.
Right.
But
I go goes for 1,000.
Are
by the
we
way.
going to? Are you going to be able to trust those guys enough without seeing them on the reg like you were previously?
Well, but let me ask you a question though, and it
There's
ties.
tons of tape from practice too.
Yeah,
that
and
he can
it
go
ties
back and
directly to
watch.
where you're at. But on a fit
live.
right, but here's the thing though. 53-man roster, okay? Today on July 19th, how many of those 53 slots do you actually think are open? 5, 6, 7?
Yeah, probably.
But then why wouldn't you spend the rest of that time or as much time as you can invested on the 47 to 49 that you already know are going to be on your squad?
But you asked the question, why don't more coaches do it? Well, why don't they? Maybe it doesn't work. Maybe those guys fighting for those 6 chances, maybe you need to see how they fight each day in practice together.
Right.
Maybe you need to see how they grind so you know where they were from day one to where they are at cut day and see if you can work with what they've changed in that time without seeing it, without hearing it from somebody else.
But you don't have to because they're going to play in preseason games, and that's where they prove their worth. On the field when the lights come on. Whatever they do in practice, he's just creating competition early for these guys to be able to fight when the lights turn on.
Yeah, I mean they don't play a game for 2.5 weeks.
Yeah,
right. But I want to see the grind before I see the shine.
No, but listen, because all that matters is how you shine. At the end of the day, I mean, you could be Mr. Uncle Practice, and we've heard it through the year after year. This guy's a practice hero, right? Every year, somebody will be a practice hero.
Mark Eckel a couple times has told us guys are practice field heroes, and when the lights come on, they shrivel up. And he said there's also guys that are the complete opposite that look like complete garbage in practice, but when they're hitting somebody in a different colored uniform, bang, like they're ready to go.
But you also have to know who those guys are so you can watch them. You know what I mean? So you can see who it is, who it's going to be, so you can see if it's something you can work with. There's a reason why. Why not everybody does it like Doug's doing it. And I don't know it is because I'm sitting here on the couch.
I just think year 2, Doug's bringing a whole different approach, and
that's fine.
I think it's brilliant.
I do too because, I mean, you want the chemistry with your ones as well, with your ones together. You want as much chemistry and as much time that you can put in when you're talking about NFL playbooks and offensive playbooks and all the things that go in and the wording and the phrasing and everything. As much time as a quarterback, especially still a young one, and new faces, right, in new places, you need as much time that they'll be able to work with them and implement your system. Because if not, you're going to struggle when the lights turn on. And then 4 preseason games are not enough to implement everything you want to do. It's not chip where you run 5 plays. So with the West Coast offense and how wordy it is and everything like that, it helps Carson. It helps Alshon, right? Chance Warmack, guys that are brought in that are new here, it's going to help them. Nelson, Jordan, guys who are still new with Carson because these guys are all new together. And Nelson, by the way, is going to have a monster year.
Jordy Nelson monster?
No. Oh, Jordy Nelson monster? I don't know because of Alshon and Matthews, but he's going to have a really good year where people are like, oh, he can play? Oh, I was wrong.
And the other piece of this, the other thing that I think it does.
I just love his stats. He's gotten bigger. It doesn't look like he's got a lot thicker, too. Yeah. I like it.
But if you follow the tree all the way up, seriously, but if you go from Doug to Andy to Holmgren, Seifert, up to Bill Walsh, the one thing that these guys do really well is they develop other coaches. The coaching tree keeps getting wider and wider and wider. And if Doug is actually taking it upon himself to not just develop his team, but to develop his coaches, there's not going to be a better way to develop his coaches than to basically give them more autonomy over roster decision-making. I mean, ultimately, it's going to be his call along with Howie and Joe Douglas.
Hold on. Who are the best in the world at what they do? Guys you can delegate, okay, and do it the right way. Right there. I mean, that's smart people. Guys who delegate and say, hey, I'm not going to take on too much here. That makes no sense. I'm going to put my guys who I believe in a place where I believe they can assess talent. And when you're talking about the back half of a roster, yes, it's very important. We all know that. Okay, but not trusting, again, this is a whole trust, this whole confidence thing. And you instill it from top all the way down, and that's what great organizations do. And when you're trying to build one, this is the way you go about it. And yes, it's a little different. Yeah, but I like it. Because when you talk about colleges, high schools, and all that, I mean, this is what they do with their ones. I mean, they spend a lot of times with their ones.
Sure.
And they're kids, and they have a lot of other things to focus on. I get that. But I think it works. I think it's going to translate. And a lot of it's hope, but why shouldn't it?
Do you think any of this has to do with the fact that training camp's no longer in Lehigh, and the camaraderie of everybody being around each other has gone a little bit?
Yeah, it doesn't matter anymore. So you want the camaraderie when you're 22.
Well, I'm just saying as a whole. But I'm saying as a whole team, like guys, and then coaches being around the guys.
Yeah.
Because now everyone goes home.
Yeah, so this is why I think this is important. To your point, I think this is why I like this, because now that 22 can get a real good camaraderie, because at the end of the day, they're the backbone of your locker room.
Yeah.
They're the backbone of your football team. They're what matters.
I think they lose something not being out in Lehigh.
Oh, yeah.
And you lose
fan
that
experience too.
You lose the fan experience. You lose an easy way for the fans to get jazzed up and interact with the guys.
Yeah, I mean, if you, to your point though, all the veterans and the guys that have homes or places or whatever in Philly, they go home. All the rookies wind up going to a hotel at the airport because the Eagles basically rent out the entire hotel. But living in a hotel near the airport,
you're cut. See you.
Yeah, but it's also, I mean,
no Uber.
It's a lot different than living in a dorm and being able to walk across a college campus into Bethlehem, go grab some beers, and
is that CBA though? Is that more CBA? Do you think?
Big
picture.
Well, no. It was
like guys bunking. No, I'm just saying. Do you think that?
Hard Knocks last year with LA, they did it.
Yeah, I was just wondering. I was just wondering.
I think it was just. I think teams still do it.
Do they think they can make more money having the open practice at the link and being able to draw more people in the one spot?
No, I think
is it a money thing too?
No, I actually think because they were making money hand over fist up.
I'm looking. I'm looking for reasons.
I just think big picture. The fact that they have their facility and their facility can accommodate what they want to do, that they're actually willing to have the money that they generate from Lehigh would offset the cost of renting the space at Lehigh, and they'd rather just have it at their own facility with their own weight room, their own training staff, their own cafeteria.
Do you put anything into this that practicing at your home field, getting used to the confines, matters?
Absolutely.
It does
a little bit.
It does a bit. But remember,
we're just looking for reasons.
When the switch came, it was with Chip.
Cafeteria.
Right.
It was with Chip, who wanted to regulate everything.
Right.
So he wanted to make sure,
cafeteria.
guys weren't running downtown Bethlehem all night.
Right.
Howie's like, we got great grub here.
Actually,
Jesus, Jeffrey.
have you ever been to the
in here?
Novacare complex?
No,
you do have some damn good grub there. I've been there once, and a meal was part of the visit.
Yeah.
Their food there was phenomenal.
Yeah, I had tickets last year, and the guy messed up the dates for him, like the VIP tickets where they put out the spread. And
Right.
you get to meet some players, and he messed up the dates where I had a tournament. He said it was on a Friday. I'm like, yeah, and he's like, oh, my bad. I woke up at 6 a.m. and he's like, oh, got a text it's Saturday. I'm like, you're a problem. Thanks, buddy. Remember, I put it out VIP.
Right.
Give you some live updates from the Novacare complex. It didn't work out, but yeah, I don't have a problem being back here, and I don't have a problem with anything Doug's doing. Now, guess what? It's got to translate. But like I said earlier, I like it bigger than most people do because it puts the pressure on him, and he's going to take ownership for all the pressure. We had a coach in here that I liked his idea. I liked his scheme. I thought the up-tempo could work with the right players. But the one thing that he didn't do well was is he didn't take blame well. One thing Andy did great is never put blame on players. He would call out. If he ever did call out, people stopped and stared.
Right.
Because it didn't happen often. And I think that matters. And I think that your players are gonna fight for you more when you don't call them out to the media, when you do things behind closed doors. And I think today's players relate better to that. And I think that's a lot what Doug's doing here, too. And listen, I love it, man, because anything close to Andy wins for me because I was Mr. Andy. Everything Andy did besides win a Super Bowl, he did great.
But isn't that what we want?
Okay.
Isn't that what we need,
But I'll
though?
take the same goddamn thing again, Greg.
I'll sign it in
Shit.
blood right now. You're damn
Shit.
right I will.
I have no problems.
But-
Get me to the dance, and I'll figure it out from there.
I'm right with you. Where do I sign in blood? I'm just saying he never won. You know,
No, but this is different. Like I feel like Doug's got more bravado than Andy too.
He might.
I think Doug's even more of a player's guy. He's a former player more than Andy was.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean,
He's been around more greatness than Andy has. A little about the same. No, they've been around about the same.
Yeah.
No, because Doug had a little time with. Besides Favre, where was Doug before Green Bay? Was he anywhere? I thought he was with Miami.
He played in
Atlanta.
Miami.
He played with Marino,
He was
right?
drafted by he was drafted by the Falcons, I believe. I think I remember that rookie card, wasn't he?
Peterson?
No, I thought you said Favre.
No.
no.
Did Doug Pederson start with
My
Miami? No, it's all right.
No, he was a backup in Green Bay.
I swore he was.
Then he
somewhere.
went to Miami, where he actually wound up beating the Eagles at the Vet.
But that was with Marino.
In the game that they carried Don Shula off the field that made him the winningest coach of all time.
Oh, yeah.
He went back to Green Bay. I think he may have played in one other.
No, Philly.
Well, I mean, besides Philly, but I mean, he went.
Cleveland.
Was it Cleveland? All right, so because he went Green Bay, Miami, Green Bay, Philly, and then I guess Cleveland, and I think that may have been it.
He was drafted by Miami.
Or he was drafted by Miami.
He was there from 93 to 95. Packers 96 to 98. Eagles in 99, Cleveland in 2000, and then back to the Packers
Okay,
from
back to the
01
Packers.
to 04. So he was with Miami under
Shula.
and with.
Marino.
So, I mean, so much.
Yeah.
I fall for it. But, okay, big three, real quick, to wrap up the show. Did Allen Iverson owe it to the fans of Philadelphia to appear in the big three?
For me, absolutely not. And I think the fact that he was there in the building when he was actually told by a doctor not to show up, I don't know how much I believe in that. But for me, if anybody was going to this big three and they shelled out big money for these tickets, like all these people were claiming that they did, but didn't watch a single minute of it on FS1, that's on them. Because Iverson is the name that has attached himself to the league to try to get them the exposure. But it's a money grab. It's a money grab for him to give his name and his face to the league. And it's a money grab for the league to have him in place. Like if you go to one of these things, which I did, and you look at the souvenir stand, there's only one player who actually has their own shirts in the stand, and it's Iverson. But if you look, I mean, this was week 4. He took 4 shots in week 1, and week 2 and 3, his time on the court, because they don't count minutes. It's just there's no clock. But he's just backed off of it since week 1. So for me, he was there. They did the big introduction. He came out. He walked around the court. He blew kisses. Him and Julius, they paired up his team against Julius Erving's team, so they would have the return of the 2 Philly legends, and he was there the whole time. So I understand why some people are pissed that he didn't play, but did he owe anyone anything? To me, no, absolutely not.
Did he owe the big three, though?
Apparently Ice Cube is fine with him doing whatever the hell he wants as long as his name is attached and he shows up.
All right.
It's a big part of anything, just showing up. To be honest with you, I don't even know what the big three is. I mean, I see it on TV. I don't watch a lick of it, because it is a money grab, But to your point, no. He doesn't owe anybody Philly anything because he gave his whole career. If you're still wanting something from Allen Iverson, then you didn't watch his whole cair because he gave this city enough, in my opinion.
Yeah, he doesn't owe anybody anything.
In my opinion, he's enough. He's good.
Now, I mean,
That's my favorite player.
Yeah, me too. And the only thing, look, we agree again.
Oh.
We're back. We're back. The thing with it is like, no, he doesn't owe the fans anything. He owes the big three. And at the end of the day, the big three is going to work. It's going to work with him playing some points.
Yeah.
Because like you said, there's no minutes. Or him playing some points. I mean, that's the only way it's going to work. I mean, even if it's, he's out there and takes a couple shots and he's not out there anymore, so be it. But he has to be on the court in moments for the big three to work, because right now he's the face of it. He's the only, in my opinion, right? He's the only Hall of Famer.
He's the only Hall of Famer who's playing.
Yes, there's others around.
Just about every coach or assistant coach is a Hall of Famer. I mean, you're looking at guys, right? But I mean, you're looking at guys like the coaches are like Doc, Gary Payton, Rick Mahorn, Charles Oakley. Iverson is a player coach. I mean, the guys who are coaching, Rick Barry, is another one. So the coaches are Hall of Famers.
Yeah, and the guys are just guys.
And the guys are for the most part just guys. Now Iverson clearly, out of the quote unquote players, is the biggest name. But basically, since day one, he's been more and more leaning towards the coaching side.
Yeah, and that's
fine.
fine.
I don't want to see a shell of a shell.
No.
Of a shell of Allen Iverson.
Oh, I don't need it at all, because
we already
I've seen
saw
it.
the shell of the shell in Denver.
Yeah,
right.
And then the shell that came back.
And then the shell of shell came back.
So, I'm in no need to watch him play. I'm not, like Greg said, I watched a little bit more than you did. And it was like, okay, I'm watching former guys. It's okay, but I'm not watching anybody that I really care about. Like, I don't need to see Rashad McCants play anymore. I've seen enough. You know, Brian Scalabrine, Bibby, he looked good one time I watched him, but it wasn't the same Bibby. Like, guys can't even get backboard anymore. Like, it's just what am I watching? Like, go out in the playground and watch?
To me, here's what's interesting about this whole thing is that the whole concept of Big Three is that it's made for TV, but it's actually better live and more fun live than it is on TV. Seeing the way that the arena's set up, with all of the big names that they have showing up.
Yeah, it's cool. It's an event.
And the fact that it is. It's an event that's centered around basketball. And they do the cool introductions in the arena. And there's some nostalgia aspect to it. But for me, it's a lot better watching it in person than it is on TV.
Well, and I think he'll get to this point, but what he needs to start doing is, and if they want to grow it, is poaching guys right when they get done with the league.
Yeah.
Getting guys fresh out of the league and offering them money to continue to play and have fun doing it. So
yeah, for sure.
That's my opinion on it.
I'll say this, though. I bought the merch. I applauded Big for the intro. I loved his speech. I didn't care that he didn't play.
Yeah, Chris Lyons goes, they would still beat the WNBA 3-on-5.
Well, McCants doesn't miss, so.
That's true. All right, so great show, boys. Great 2-year anniversary.
Happy
Big
second
dog.
anniversary.
Congrats, gentlemen.
Thank you,
You can
sir.
go back and listen. We talk Big Three, Eagles, Phillies Trade Talks, Mayweather, McGregor. We discussed that for a long time. You can go back
the
Facebook,
circus.
YouTube, watch the whole show there. We'd like to thank all our sponsors. Gibson Mayer LLC, our Wednesday night show sponsor. Find him on the
Been
web.
with us since day one.
Oh, the man. 2 years with James Gibson and Gibson Mayer LLC. So find him on the web, gibsonmayer.com. I thank Soap Stash, the new soap standard. Soap Stash LLC on Facebook, or soapstash.com is where you can find him as well. BMW of Atlantic City, Stream Smart. You can see the link that Vinny dropped in her Facebook. Sports Outlet Inc., Scanzano Sports. And I'm not missing anybody.
I think we're good.
For Tom Manone, Michael Mataraki, Greg Milakovic, Rob Povey on the ones and twos. For another edition of Tom,
Mike,
AM,
in the PM.
HUDRare.com. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We're the best in the goddamn business. # get no notes. We out.